views and opinions expressed on Geeks Under the Influence are that of the panelists and not of our sponsors, Amazon.com and TeePublic. Parental discretion is advised.
Boba Dad Bod was the thing, definitely. Where his armor didn't fit quite as well as it used to. I'm so into that.
Yeah, old man bod that kicked more ass than young man bod. I mean, I think if you actually put Boba and Mando towards a fight, it would have to go to the death because they could just equally kick the shit out of each other.
I just like that armor doesn't fit anybody right anymore. At first you have Timothy Oliphant, that gangly ass fucker wearing the Boba Fett armor, and his like fucking giraffe neck is sticking out of the bottom of the helmet. It just doesn't fit well at all. And then Boba Fett gets it, and he's got the chubs now. He's been chowing down in the desert, 30 years. So it's just like barely strapped onto his gut, like poking out. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it's like Timothy Oliphant looked like the kid who just went on a shopping spree and got all new clothes for school and then had a 2-inch growth spurt.
Right?
I mean, nothing fits.
But I was really excited to see that they started incorporating, and they talked about it in some bonus feature stuff, the like haka moves, the traditional like New Zealand fighting style stuff. They incorporated that into Boba Fett's fighting style, because we haven't really seen Boba Fett fight before, not in live action before this point.
He shot a couple times.
He got like taken down by a blind dude and fell into a Sarlacc pit, and that was the extent of the action scene he was in. And also just Boba Fett being able to do some like kind of martial arts style moves was very interesting to see incorporated in, because I think the only other character we've seen any kind of like martial art type stuff with is one of the characters in Rogue One.
We just got 100% definite proof that Boba Fett is not a pussy.
Yep.
Not a pussy. So in Johnny Lawrence's book, he is not a pussy.
Exactly right.
But he doesn't drive a Trans Am, so
Little known fact actually is that Boba Fett, he is not a Mandalorian, but he is a Cobra Kai.
Ooh,
so that's where he got... No?
No.
Fett first, Fett hard.
Stop.
No good to him dead? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? No? Okay.
Can you keep going? Just come on. Just let it out.
I mean, that would be great if he took off his helmet and there's like just a Cobra Kai bandana like Fuck You Hunter's wearing right now.
That's right.
Underneath the helmet.
Represent, bitches.
He's got like fucking Lover Boy or something playing in the background as the Slave One like flying through the sky. I'd be into it. I would be super into it. Season 3 of Cobra Kai just dropped on Netflix. That's why we are gathered here today, to talk about, as much as we could still probably rock out a couple hours on The Mandalorian. We do have the third season, the first season that was released on its own on Netflix. You may look back, in less than 10 episodes ago, we did a Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2, and that's when Netflix purchased from YouTube and dropped the first 2 seasons on Netflix. This is season 3, just dropped at the beginning of January, so we're getting into the follow-up episode of our first Cobra Kai.
Which is great that literally right as Mandalorian ended, and you're like, fuck, man, what can I watch? And then Cobra Kai came in like right after. They go, it's all right, here you go, here's something else you can watch, just to kind of deal with Mandalorian being over and that fucking finale of Mandalorian. Here's Cobra Kai just to make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
And wasn't it dropped early?
Like a week early.
Yeah, they did. They brought it up like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
The timing has been perfect because it was Mandalorian and then Cobra Kai and then WandaVision showing up like right after that as well. So like for a January, there is plenty to be watching.
Truth. And the fact that Netflix was like, oh no, we got you. When they dropped the trailer of it, because they pretty much finished up season 3, they're like, oh yeah, season 4's coming. You're like, you haven't even dropped season 3 yet. Fuck me.
Well, it looks like they actually do have a plan on where everything's going to go, and you can see kind of a progression going. And we're going to talk about that and also kind of where these characters have found themselves at the end of season 3 on this episode of Geeks Under the Influence, episode 203. We are diving deep, heavy spoilers about Cobra Kai going forward. So if you have not seen season 3 and you don't want to get spoiled, go finish season 3, come back, listen to this episode. We're going to be talking all things, like deep into the spoilers on season 3. So stick around. We'll be talking about Cobra Kai in this episode of Geeks Under the Influence. Welcome.
We are things that were and shall be again. A changing of the guard. The deadites marching in. You think you can hold out, but you know you're wrong. So you better join us now. You better do it fast, or you will be. Necronomicon gives us power to rise
Hiya.
Okay, hiya. Yeah, because they say that a lot in Cobra Kai.
They do
all the time. A hiya.
Hiya.
Yep. Every episode, just lousy with
Hiya.
hayas. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little more aggressive, but there's pretty much at least one like yeah in every episode.
Yeah,
know
it's
James
different
Bond
than
was in that.
hiya though. Like I want one of our listeners to take one of or all of us saying hiya and just put it in fight scenes in Cobra Kai, just to prove that if they were saying hiya, it would be so much worse. It would be terrible.
Is that the Cobra Kai Wilhelm scream?
Basically,
Yes.
yeah. It's somebody from GUI going hiya in the background somewhere.
Okay.
So let me
All
introduce the panel before we get moving on to season 3. I was writing up a list of things we were going to talk about on this episode, worried because we had 2 seasons to talk about on the first episode, and then only 1 season to talk about on this second episode.
Only one with
But
all the Easter
there's
eggs.
so much to talk about. This will not be difficult to fill some time with. This is we got a lot to cover, and the ones helping me cover this here we've got from Beautiful Disasters, from the Mouths of Madness, and regular panelist on every other show on the network. We've got Fuck You Hunter here in proper Cobra Kai garb.
What's up, bitches? That's right. I got my Cobra Kai bandana, but I'm also kind of cheering for our second team. I got my Eagle Fang for fucking shirt. God damn it.
That I am impressed with, because how quickly the turnaround time on that merchandise first, and then the fact that that turnaround time and then you getting it.
Seriously, amazing. Like, they had to start shipping these things right as the season was getting dropped, because I just picked this shirt up like yesterday. So
That's amazing. So well dressed for the occasion here.
fuck yeah.
Next up, and I want to give it up for a cherry poppin' that is happening on Geeks Under the Influence right now. We've got a first-timer, longtime listener and friend, first time on Geeks Under the Influence. You may have been able to hear his official network cherry pop on the last episode of Smack My Pitch Up, where we talked weird science. We've got Chris Porter here.
How you doing, everybody?
We've been talking and trying to figure out a subject matter or an episode to get you on for years.
At least 2
Or
years.
get you
At least
off.
2.
Yeah, right. And then in short work, within a week, you're on your second show on the network. So that's just how it goes sometimes. But I'm glad we finally got you on.
Just hitting the ground running.
When it worked out, because we had an open spot for this episode, and then during Weird Science, you even incorporated Strike Hard, Show No Mercy into your trailer for Weird Science. So it was kind of a no-brainer that you were that obsessed with Cobra Kai at that point. You were working it into Weird Science, so it made sense to have you on.
Yep.
Yeah. So welcome, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Next up is my co-host, gentleman that helps me run this network and this crazy show here, the Sexual Chocolate, Mr. Lowdown Brown MacGyver.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, bud?
What's going on? It's good to see everyone.
I
We're talking
know,
about some
man.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra
Yeah.
Kai. I'm so glad that my January has had actually decent stuff to watch, because normally not so much.
And I mean, for me personally, it's leaning into a pretty decent February because we got Kong versus Godzilla, and I'm just like jizzing all over that.
Oh my God, the trailer just dropped for that, and that looks
I know. And dude,
incredible.
when Kong punches Godzilla, I'm like, fuck yes, I need this in my life right now.
Apparently, King Kong gets Stormbreaker at some point in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, my friend Tondi was the one that mentioned that first on social media. He's like, "Does he have Stormbreaker?" And I went, "Fuck, I didn't think about that." Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he does.
a
And he's
giant-
channeling Godzilla's energy to bash him in the head with it.
Yep.
Fucking rad. So the man who seems equally as stoked as me about Kong versus Godzilla, the founder of this shite show, Mr. Michael Bickett.
yeah, I am. Before I even got into monster movies, like scary horror movie monster movies, it was rubber suit monster movies. It was Godzilla and King Kong, those kind of things that you're a little 4 or 5 year old kid. If you're going to watch something scary, a big giant monster crushing buildings is more like fun than scary, and so
Yep.
little kids can get into it. It was my entryway into what would be a lifetime obsession with monsters. So I
It's true, though.
definitely am excited about that. But also another thing I was obsessed with as a kid is, I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually did take martial arts when I was younger. I took 2 weeks of Tung Soo Do, and I almost got my yellow belt. So
Nice.
I understand all the trials and tribulations of being a lethal weapon.
I was going to say, I feel like most kids at least do karate for like a week. I feel like every kid does karate.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious. Like, it's not, I'm just like, I know I took it for about a year and a half when I was a kid, and then continued, got back into a different version when I got older. But,
Sure.
I feel like that's just like a thing. Like, you hear a parent's like, I got to drop the kid off at karate. Fuck. Like, like this is the thing, you do. It's a good structure.
It's like between t-ball and soccer, you do karate for a little bit. That's the tiered thing.
No, I've been hitting balls for a while. How does it feel to hit a person?
Yeah, right.
Even I had a few classes of Taekwondo.
See? So we're all registered minor inconveniences here with our judo chops.
I don't know. I think Hunter just dresses the part.
No, I took I went for like 3 weeks. That counts, right?
It counts. It totally counts.
I can sweep the fucking leg. All right.
What's the Karate Kid version of Stolen Valor, where you just wear the Cobra Kai outfit, but you don't actually have any Cobra Kai training?
This is the equivalent of the people that put the signs out for their house that say, protected by ADT, but don't actually have the fucking system. They just have the fucking signs. I wear the fucking bandana because are you going to test that this is just a prop or I am OG Cobra Kai, all right?
Yeah, because, most of the people are be like, well, if he's rocking Cobra Kai, clearly he must have martial arts skills.
Exactly. See?
Fooling a lot of people.
Side, all right? There might be a chance I'm a fucking badass, all right?
Mm-hmm. And that actually reminds me of a brighter time in the show early on in season 2 when Dimitri rocked the Cobra Kai gear and was getting attention from girls, but then Hawk, fucking dick he is, I got stuff to say about him later.
Yeah,
man.
I brought him up as far as the notes go because I wanted to center in on that character a little bit. Just his arc is all over the place. But
then Hawk had a problem with it, so he's like, you're not Cobra Kai. You don't train with us. You left because I believe you said you're a pussy, which it led down a spiral that led us to the end of the previous Cobra Kai episode we had where we talked about the first 2 seasons where they had the big battle in the school. I mean, all that was the beginnings of all that. And then that leaves us where we're at now going into season 3, where basically the 2 main characters that started all this in the original Karate Kid are essentially broken.
Yeah.
They're more broken and the kids are broken. Well, some of them, the ones that actually have a heart are broken. The other ones are just like creased, fucking juiced.
You've got Miguel. He's literally broken.
Literally.
Like
Johnny is the most crushed you've seen him between anything you've seen him in, as far as the original one, the first 2 seasons. Like he is just down and low and
you do
fuck
see
everything.
You do see before that part where he's starting to have his heart is growing a little bit before that happens, where he's starting to care about people other than himself, and he's digging himself out of his depression hole that he's been living in for 20 years. But there was this back and forth that he dealt with. Miguel getting hurt, that was like a no turning back moment where he was like, no, I can't. I care too much about this kid to, ignore it. I can't ignore that part of myself anymore.
He's like, I think some of it too is like, this is what happens when I try and I give a shit. See what happens when I try to do good.
Right.
And it was actually a conversation in season 3 where they're like, I did the right thing. And look what happened. And I forget who he had the conversation with, but they were like, sometimes doing the right thing, more so than not, is hard and not easy.
Yeah.
But he hadn't really done the right thing his whole life, so he didn't know how to cope with those feelings.
Well, it's like doing the right thing once doesn't make everything better. Like you have to consistently do the right thing. And
exactly.
That's something that is discussed on multiple levels, where it is with Johnny and how his relationship with his son and trying to make things better doesn't make it just better all of a sudden because he gives a shit now. Like there's years of issues that are being sussed out. And same thing with his relationship with Kreese, that there's years of these issues that have built up and Johnny then kind of falling into old patterns and then Kreese kind of taking advantage from that. And then there's such a conversation about like the replacement parent in Cobra Kai. You've got Kreese for Johnny. You've got the Karate Kid himself taking care of fucking Johnny's
Robbie.
kid.
Yeah.
Taking care of Robbie. You've got Johnny as a father figure to Miguel. I mean, there's all this weird non-parent parenting happening.
Yeah, that's true. And you also get like a version of Kreese's own parenting at first too. when he went off to Vietnam.
Oh, sure.
Like that backstory of Kreese was really crucial, actually, to me personally in this season, because now you kind of get it. He never had someone to pull him out of that darkness.
Yeah,
he stayed in it, and now you, even though like he's a piece of shit, like you fuck him, but at least understanding kind of helps.
Yeah, I do appreciate how when they started his flashback, you just assumed he was the asshole at the booth, and you go, no, he's not the asshole at the booth. He's the guy that's getting picked on, which later on you see, all right, no, he's going to fuck motherfuckers up. So,
yep,
exactly.
When he went to kill his commander, he didn't just destroy the thing he hated. He stepped into his shoes and became him instead of destroying him.
He says right before he stomps on his hand is like, you are right. And I made that mistake of showing mercy, and I will never make that mistake again, and then kills him. Like, yeah, he's 100% doing the Sith thing of like killing his master and then taking over the role as emperor. Like, he's totally doing that.
Yeah, because, he was a very empathetic person. Like Hunter said, when the guy sits down in the booth, you think, okay, well, that's Kreese. And like, wait, no, he's the fucking the server getting fucking shit on, and picked on about his mom being sick and all that stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't expecting this arc. And then when he takes that into war and he shows that type of empathy or, got to try to save him, they all get fucked.
Yep.
And they all get put in a fucking, POW camp. So between that and then having to fight his commander who put him in that position in the first place, hid the information about his girlfriend dying, like that just something snapped in Kreese.
I think that was the final thing.
Yeah, that was the
final thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he didn't really have a home life that he was really looking forward to going home to. The only thing that he had holding him down and keeping him like normal was that relationship that he developed. So when she died for no good reason, and also it was like laughed at when it was told, it was kind of a non-thought explanation of what happened. Yeah, he lost his shit a little bit, and I get it. It totally makes sense. So I do see a lot of kind of like Star Wars parallels as far as like the Padawan and the Jedi and the Sith and the apprentice in Karate Kid, because you've got like
you look for Star Wars everywhere.
That's besides the point. It's the nature of mentor relationship and how not noticing the problems of your master, quote unquote, will make you follow their same path.
True.
I mean, it's not just Star Wars, but yeah, that's a major Star Wars thing, and Cobra Kai is as well.
Can I just say how I'm also impressed and terrified about how the Viet Cong collected that many fucking snakes to throw into a fucking pit and keep in that fucking pit? And the worst fucking way to die, at least for me, would be what happens to that commander is fucking dying and going, how many snakes fucking kill me? I
would say that I don't think it's that hard in the jungle in Vietnam to acquire that many snakes. I'm just spitballing here, but I don't think...
You had to have somebody in charge to get all those fucking snakes.
They probably just went 5 feet outside of camp.
That's like 300 snakes, though, man. I mean, that's
just
not...
like when you're camping, there's the guy that has to go look for sticks for the fire. Like, that's what Vietnam is. It's like, go look for snakes. And because it's Vietnam, the dude just walked 20 feet out and was like, fucking... cobra, fucking python, fucking what are you? I don't care. New species.
That's accurate. Yes, you're in a fucking jungle. Yeah, there's snakes aplenty.
He's got like a fucking a duffel bag that he's just shoving snakes in and pouring into the pit.
I thought it would be spikes or something like that. Like that's a fuck ton of snakes. They really want to see motherfuckers die as painful as possible.
That's like with snakes. Like that's harder than sticks.
Seriously. And can we just say like it was awesome? Like I knew that's what it was. Because when the guy came back who beat you only see the one fighting match, and when the winner came back and they're like, yeah, I forget what his words were. I think it was something like, you don't want to know, or something that's way worse than just killing him.
Oh, it's obvious then, yeah.
And I was like, oh no, oh yeah. And then that shot, you're like, fuck yeah, Cobra Kai. It was awesome.
I was kind of hoping it was like scorpions or something, because then it would be like, are you fucking kidding? Why was that not snakes? You assholes. Like just this big, like clearly missed opportunity would have been so much better.
Or they could have just been fucking with you if they were scorpions. That'd be fun too.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That would be fun, right?
And then flashback in the future, and it's like, I'm opening up Scorpion Kai. And they're like, that doesn't really work. And he's like, oh, cobras are scary. Or just some offhand thing. It wasn't from anything. He was just like eagle fanging it. And and just coming up with something that sounded scary.
Eagle Fang. The fuck?
Eagle Fang. But it's so
Sit down, Hunter. Sit down. Hunter, yes, F.U. Hunter is wearing an Eagle Fang shirt.
it is
Yes.
Represent, bitches.
It's so perfect for Johnny though, because it's so obnoxious.
It's so Johnny.
It's so Johnny.
Clueless. It's clueless.
It's the name and logo you would come up with after drinking like 6 or 7 Coors Lights,
Banquets.
right?
Yeah, Coors Banquets, yeah.
And it's exactly the thing somebody would come up with that hasn't been awake in the past 20 years, 30 years.
Right?
No
Where has
shit.
he been?
Drunk.
Yeah, right?
Seriously. He's been drunk for the last 20 years.
Johnny has been kind of the same version of himself this entire time, but as time has gone on, he started to like care about other people. He's still a ridiculous asshole, but he's like a ridiculous asshole with a heart now. So he still doesn't know how to internet. He still loves really shitty hair bands from the 80s and like bad food and bad beer and has bad opinions, but he cares too. So suddenly he's a better person.
One of my fucking favorite moments is where he, let's be honest, he exploits the fact that Miguel's in a wheelchair to get into a fucking concert, a D. Snyder concert, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's D. Snyder, the power of fucking rock that starts helping Miguel heal. Like,
That's awesome.
I thought that was just
Fucking
hilarious
badass.
as shit.
And the fact that, you know, he's, again, going back to his roots with the 80s, he's pulling out his old porns he used on a fishing pole. Like Miguel wants to see some chick from like 40 years ago who has like a giant hairy bush because they didn't shave back then, like, you know, in a penthouse. Like, I'm
trying
just
to
saying,
justify
like, that's-
analog porn.
Yeah. Like, women in the porn that Johnny had do not like women in the porn that Miguel would be interested in.
That's true.
Bitch.
And I love the rest of his list too. What did he have on there? It's like Electric Shock, Tony Robbins, and LSD. What was he going to do with LSD?
I wish we got that.
Yeah.
Tony
Awesome.
That's gonna be a
Robbins and
deleted scene.
LSD at the same time. There we go.
Oh God, oh no.
Yes.
No.
Tony Robbins and LSD.
Now I feel like there's a missed opportunity just to try to convey what that would look like. Tony Robbins and LSD.
And I love how he kind of ties back into the whole, you know, father figure, just, I don't know, motley crew that's going on in there, where he brings out the hibachi and he tries to tell the hibachi story, and Miguel lets him talk, lets him tell the whole story, and Miguel's like, actually, no. Like, Miguel is the only one that literally shuts Johnny down, like, hard. Yep. Like, it's awesome.
Well, because he got behind the armor. You know, Johnny still has his walls up pretty high, but there's only a couple people that have been really able to get behind that, and Miguel is probably the deepest behind that armor. Because Johnny built himself up by building up Miguel.
Yeah.
He gave himself a sense of worth, being able to be a sensei to Miguel before he even had the Cobra Kai dojo again.
True, 100%. And it's weird because that happened by accident, because he just saved him in season 1 from getting his ass handed to him by kids that were like, you know, 3 years older than him, right? Like, I don't think, because it's a high school, those kids aren't in the same grade. Now, they come back in season 3 and the one dude wants revenge, but what's fucked up is the one person Johnny wants to let past his armor, he keeps fucking up with, and that's Robbie.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, he wants Robbie to be there.
I love the fact that they finally brought those guys back from the first season, and then the way they brought them back is fucking Kreese recruiting all the bad athletes from different sports in this weird recruiting montage, and then that's what kind of, I think, started the Hawk transition, is going, oh wait, now the assholes that fucking picked on me are part of my crew. No, you know, and that was like the first inkling, like, fuck this.
I mean, I think that led to Hawk realizing that he was one and the same with them in that final battle scene. I think he looked around and was like, I am these assholes now. Like, it never clicked before.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I'm thinking, oh, well, that was a sudden turn. But then I go back and think about it. No, it was a slow burn throughout the season, Hawk realizing that he became the bully.
I think it started happening before the conversation with Miguel, but when Miguel gets back to school and he walks into school under his own power and people are congratulating him, telling him they're thankful that he's back, he has that moment with Hawk and he wants to have a conversation with Hawk, and then they meet back up at lunch after he hears about like what Hawk has done and has that conversation like, you're a bully now. Like, what the hell, man? Like, you You think you're this badass, but you're not. You're just a big old bully. And you can see in Honk's face where there's this like, fuck you attitude, but there's still this like, but I'm not sure if he's wrong look on his face at the same time, where he doesn't have anything to say back at that moment. Like, no, I'm not. No, he can hear the truth ringing in what Miguel is saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, the biggest injury or what happened with the rivalries up till that point was what happened to Miguel. But that was still accidental, him going off the edge. Fucking Hawk had the dude's arm and was like, I'm breaking this bitch. Like, that's not like the sort of fights we had in the earlier seasons. I mean, he just literally goes, all right, well, you're going to remember me to this time.
Right.
Hawk turned malicious. I mean, he had malicious intent for everyone and everything he went after. And that's a whole different level of, whoa, kid, like, you need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, calm fuck down.
Calm the fuck down, dude. I will fucking grab you by your bullshit red mohawk and sling your ass across. Like, I hated him the entire season until the finale, because I'm like, and I kind of feel bad for saying this because he was in high school, but I'm like, something bad needs to happen to that fucking kid. He's a fucking asshole.
Well, I think what really happened is that, he, even in the first season, wanted to be one of the cool kids. He wanted to be the kid that like the girls talked to. He wanted to be the guy with the cool clothes and that was like popular at school. It wasn't just about being able to defend himself. It was also about being able to be cool. Was this whole thing. That's what the mohawk and everything was about, him having a certain personality, a caricature that he's portraying. So that was okay for a little bit when he had friends like that came up with him in Cobra Kai, when Miguel was in there, when his other buddies that were dorks also were becoming badasses. Then there was something truthful about him being there, that as they all cycled out, weren't good enough, or realized that it wasn't for them, and he's the last one standing, suddenly the kids that were the popular kids, that were the bullies, are the ones that are cycling in. And for him, it's that like, I can be one of the cool kids now if I just shut my mouth and like bully people with them. But there was always a resistance. When he broke Dimitri's arm, he didn't want to. He was in a pressured position where he had to impress, his buddies, peer pressure. There was a moment where he had to decide whether he was going to be Hawk or if he was going to be himself. And that was later on in the epic fucking brawl.
I mean, we're talking about epic brawl, but dude, these kids went hard at each other the whole season, dude.
Like, whole season. Yep.
The fucking laser tag. I mean, like they were breaking each other's shit and yes, obviously in my mind with the final battle, it was like, I'm going to murder all your fucking kids. You just fucked my house up.
Right.
Ask Rachel, like, I was like, I would kill all these fucking kids. I would pay for their funerals. Fuck that. They just wrecked my fucking house.
I mean, LaRusso's daughter literally has a nightmare of the chick murdering her. Not like beating her in competition or that, but fucking murdering her.
Well,
like, that's how hardcore
gashes
this
on her
is got.
arm from that chick.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, like legit nasty looking scars.
Yeah.
Not nice looking scars. They were there. I mean, they weren't pretty.
Yeah, the Freddy Krueger wannabe.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sorry. Did anyone notice how like awkward she was at like being like that hard? That actress.
Oh, that actress.
I don't know. Like, she was just very awkward with that level of aggression and intimidation she was trying to give off. That was the only thing honestly I could say about the acting, which it's again Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, but the expectation isn't super high.
Acting bar is not high in this series at all.
So when you bring something out, you're like, well, okay, that was definitely a little bit. You know what I mean? That was just a little bit lower. Like I felt like it wasn't really believable to a certain extent.
The way that she kind of smiled when she was being angry, it wasn't like that like hateful, spiteful kind of smiling. There was like it came off very kind of wooden, I guess, her approach to being like the mean girl.
Best acting in the entire series is Johnny. All right. If it's not for how strong his performance is from season 1, we don't get into season 3. It all depends on him, in my opinion. All right.
I don't know. I think Miguel's probably one of the stronger actors in
now.
That's true.
Now, yeah,
that's true.
But I didn't tune into Cobra Kai to find out about some random motherfucker I'd never seen before.
Well, no, it's hard to say because like Johnny, he does an okay job, but there's definitely some lines that he delivers that are just come off so hokey. But it's also the question: is it just the line is so hokey that it's really hard to really have it ring true when it's so fucking dumb? Or is it
We're
is that he's just
talking
not
about
doing
a
it
show
well?
that has a kung fu battle in school, and then another one that has a kung fu battle at a house with Christmas music playing. All right, I'm not taking this
No,
as
so
massively
awesome.
seriously.
Season
all
2
right?
when he's like, put one of them hash browns on it, send it to the internet. It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb, but it's funny, but it's not well acted. Like there's no point where I'm
I
just
think he did the best he could with that line. That line's pretty
exactly.
fucking dumb.
Yeah.
That
Well,
line's
those
pretty
lines,
fucking
but I'm talking
stupid.
about him taking the responsibility of what happened to Miguel. Him then realizing, honestly, the responsibility of Kreese taking over his dojo, like all those parts. Honestly, like I've been impressed with how well he's done. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's a good place for us to take our break for the halfway point of this episode about Cobra Kai Season 3. Take a listen to some of the other shows on the network, and we'll be back in just a minute with some what we're drinking and a little bit more Cobra Kai action. So stick around.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm FU Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
Hey guys, Scotty Big Daddy Preston here, that's right, the Geek Father, asking you to join me here every other week with friends and family of the GUI Network as we go through all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent. So remember, join us or cry.
In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens, done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
We're back for the second half of Geeks Under the Influence, all things Cobra Kai Season 3. And before we get into the second half, we have to talk about our sponsors. People that help give us a little bit of cash so we can get better equipment, pay for storage fees and booze and what have you. First off, of course, is Amazon.com. I know you used it over the holiday season, and as long as people are in lockdown doing things around the house, there's always a reason to order your stuff through Amazon.com. It's easy, it's convenient, and you know, when you're home a lot more, you're going to find little projects. I know I've been looking around the house and figuring out weather strip stuff, how to arrange things differently. The joy and danger of Amazon.com is you can go down those rabbit holes and order all sorts of stuff that you didn't realize that you needed. So when you do that, just make sure to go through the link at GUIPodcast.com. On the upper right-hand corner, click on the link, and anything you purchase through the link, we get credit for. So then, of course, we've got TeePublic, your site for all of the GUI Network merch that you could ask for. We've got a bunch of designs, 30-plus designs from all the different shows across the network, as well as special designs that are designed by people on the network or friends of the network. Beautiful Disasters just released a new design that's based on the Battle Royale logo.
fuck yeah.
The schlock abuse program.
Yeah, that looks
shirt.
rad.
That's a rad shirt. And I think you and Groots got the shirts already?
Yeah, well, I got mine. He ordered his a week before I did, and somehow I got my shirts before him. But
oh, wow.
Eventually both of us will have the shirts. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great new design. We got a bunch of other designs. You just go to GUIPodcast.com/store, and there will be a link to our TeePublic site there. And also a reminder that all the money that we make off of the TeePublic sales for the time being is being donated to the Holly Fund. There's a lot of stories coming out right now about how many restaurants will not survive past COVID. And the Holly Fund, along with so many other places, it's a nonprofit that's helping people in the restaurant industry get through this very challenging time. So we're helping out. You can help them out literally by just buying GUI merch. We're not keeping any of it. We're sending it to the Holly Fund. So, and that's our sponsors. Now on to the part of the show where we talk about the lubrication that gets us through what we're drinking.
Hey, we're fucking drinking. We're getting drunk. You want to know? Well, here you go. Hey,
we're drinking. We're getting drunk.
So we got a couple of well, not shares since we're virtual, but a couple of drinks that we're enjoying here. Chris, you got one that's thematic, correct?
I tried.
Okay. That's all we can expect.
So I'm looking at Strong Show, Strong Podcast, Strong Sake.
Aww. Oh, sake. Okay.
I've got an Awashizuku. I'm sure I butchered that name. It's a sake infused with hops. And I thought I'd try that today, and I realized that was a big mistake.
So not your favorite,
good, huh?
Kind of like sake, and I do like hops, but some things just don't mix.
Rice and hops.
But it was worth a shot, and I'm glad I tried it.
So, so like a sake IPA kind of vibe going for it. That's all right. Well,
yeah.
I appreciate the bravery that you had for your share for this episode.
So was that I'm gonna do a Hobbit joke. Was that a sock PA?
Wow.
That's the level of your jokes, dude.
That's I mean, some of my jokes. I mean, I will give you that, but come on, man, not all of them. There's some a little bit better tier than that. Jesus. I'm not saying I'm above that at all. I'm just saying like that's not the main area in which I exist. That's
not the entire repertoire.
Not the entire repertoire, yeah. I got a couple dance moves and the rest are that trash, but you know like
oh shit.
All right, Lowdown, you've been drinking on a beer as well, right?
Yeah. So I got the Hardywood bourbon barreled raspberry stout, and it was really good. It was delicious.
Nice.
Yes. Good, smooth. You got it, so it wasn't overly raspberry, so you just had a little bit of the tartness of a raspberry kind of in the middle, and up front's obviously the bourbon barrel because that always pops up front, right? The hotness from the bourbon.
Sure.
And then it goes into the raspberry, and then it finishes on that deep chocolate stout flavor. It's fucking good.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, Hardywood, as always, as I do, East Coast local, because all y'all the bitches fucking forget.
Fair enough. Also, a reminder that the best choice for a thematic beer for Cobra Kai has to be Coors Banquet.
That's it.
That's you can go fancy, you can go fun and thematic and like by name or by style, but ultimately like
Coors Banquet.
Coors Banquet. That's
yeah.
Coors.
So that is what we're drinking on this episode, or at least some of us here. The rest of us are going to be coming along for a journey into some of the writing on this show. There's this very specific area that the writing of Cobra Kai exists in, where it's right in between good and bad. It's like the purgatory of writing, where some of the writing is so bad that it is perfect for what for what the show is trying to convey. This show is not supposed to be like really deep or anything. It's supposed to be a campy, fun nostalgia fest, and
especially Kreese.
Especially Kreese.
Kreese is he's got emperor lines. We brought it up early in the episode, but like, yeah, if you were to take Palpatine and give him line, like that's what Kreese is,
right?
Like, you know.
And what was funny is seeing Elizabeth Shue show up in season 3, and it's like, did no one tell her what this was? Like, because she's Elizabeth Shue, so she's just such a good actress that she's super natural in her lines, and everybody else is like, "Hello, ex-girlfriend of Johnny," you know, just being really wooden. And she's just natural, like, "Oh, hey," just like she's lived in this world her entire life, and everybody else is just not able to compete at any level with her talent.
I was going to say, before we get into this next scene, I do have to give it the nod. Like, her like episode in a quarter was like the best acting in this entire 3 seasons. It was amazing. Like, I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed watching her just talk shit on how they're still like, it was so good.
And she brought up and completely hit the nail on the head with something that I've been saying since the very beginning. And I wrote down the line. She said, the truth is, talking to Danny and Johnny, she said, the truth is, you guys are more alike than you want to admit. and maybe you recognize parts of yourself in others, and maybe you don't always like what you see. They are basically the same people coming from different backgrounds.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And they do not want to see that.
And they even covered that before that conversation in that episode. They talked about how Daniel was from the bad neighborhood and Johnny was from like the good neighborhood, and they flip-flopped. So they've always been kind of a yin and yang to each other.
Newark, and Danny was from Newark, New Jersey, just in case anyone was wondering.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, pretty shitty place. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, super shitty part of the world.
Yeah. I mean, it is Newark. It's a pretty shitty fucking city.
So there is a nice coming together that happens where that actually there was so much heavy lifting that part of that episode did, as far as like healing some old wounds, getting everybody to be on the same page, getting Johnny and Daniel to sit down and like be able to like not maybe be friends necessarily, but have enough respect for each other not to be at each other's throats all the time. And I think it's really Elizabeth Shue that allowed that to happen.
You gotta appreciate it, because throughout the season, whenever it seemed like they would have actually worked things out, something fucking happens, like the next scene where they're fucking fighting each other.
Yep.
This was the first time where literally, because Elizabeth Shue's there, that they don't leave the banquet fucking fighting each other, where
like,
every other time they're pounding around, and the next thing you know, they're punching each other in the face.
Perfect. This is, of course, we're going to be doing Making a Drunken Scene.
Making a Drunken Scene.
Yes, Johnny wants my check.
Yes. All right, so this is from episode 10, December 19th. It's the last episode of season 3, is the scene that we're pulling from here. It's not the first time that Daniel and Johnny actually fight together, but it's the first time that they're really on the same page with everything and fighting together. Like, they're on the same team, really, when this goes down. And Daniel actually kind of saves Johnny at this point. So this is from that scene. We've got Daniel-san. We've got Kreese. And then we've got a small line from Chosen Taguchi.
I'll take that one.
And then we've got the narration. Oh, Samantha LaRusso. So
I can do both Samantha and, because I don't know how we want to do that, because there's more narration than anybody's actually talking.
Okay, I would just remind you with Chosen Taguchi. Yeah, that makes sense. Dude, like, as far as
why do you say it like that?
As far as choices that can be made, I'm just saying, like, yeah.
What? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yep. Okay, so you're gonna do Chosen Taguchi and Samantha LaRusso. I'll do the narration. Who wants to do Kreese?
Oh, yes.
Hunter's like, ooh, okay. Chris, are you okay with you being Danny LaRusso, the hero of this tale, or one of the heroes of this tale, I guess? All right. So that is our character list here. This is the episode December 19th from episode 10 of season 3 of Cobra Kai. Starting with the narration. Kreese is trying to suffocate Johnny in a chokehold, only to be interrupted by Daniel striking him.
You sent him to my house? You came after my daughter? You want to fight? You son of a bitch? Well, now you got one.
He looks over and sees Robbie unconscious.
Robbie?
Getting to his feet.
I told you. This was inevitable.
They fight. Kreese blocks him.
You can't keep up with this defense-only shit forever.
Good thing I don't have to.
He breaks Kreese's block. The fight continues, with Kreese picking Daniel up by his legs and charging outside through one of the dojo's windows. Both land on the sidewalk. John Kreese picking up a large shard of glass from the window.
Time for you and Miyagi to reunite.
Daniel remembers.
Hey, if an enemy insists on war, you take away their ability to wage it.
Yeah, that was what I was worried about, was the Rocky voice.
Totally what you were worried about.
Yep.
Totally.
Daniel successfully disables Kreese using Chosen's pressure point techniques he learned from him in Okinawa. I like that they're reminding us in the script where he learned this stuff.
Oh, yeah, there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forcing Kreese to his knees, Johnny emerges. Daniel looks at him with an inquisitive look, implying whether he should strike to kill. Johnny nods, and Daniel nods back. Samantha rushing up.
Daddy.
Oh,
damn it. No.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
I really do want to see what Karate Kid looks like with Sylvester Stallone playing Miyagi now. It's just two Italian stallions in there. Like,
wax on, wax off, all right? Wax on.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, wax this.
like Pasadena's like, what's up with all these Italian dudes that know karate? This is fucking weird.
Where I come from was boxing, this karate shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. On my legs, what?
But so we are getting into the last bit of season 3 here. I do want to talk about the fight a little bit, but also the big thing that I was really happy with how they ended up going about it was the love interests for Johnny. You've got we're building to a crescendo of him betting Miguel's mom, which seems like a good fit. Like he's already, playing kind of a father figure to the kid. They have a really good relationship, Carmen and Johnny. Makes sense. But then all of a sudden, Allie comes out of nowhere and is back in his life. And I was really worried that was going to screw up the relationship there.
I did want to say when they did finally get together, I realized I will never hire Johnny to hang my TV because at the very first bump, that thing goes flying.
Fair.
I just appreciated the mom slept with Johnny. I mean, dude helped her kid start walking. That's the least she could do. All right.
I mean, part of the reason he was in the, never mind. No. What I will say is that scene, that episode with Allie was the most critical episode out of the entire series so far because, you worry that she meets up with Johnny, they go out to they meet out for food, and they're talking and catching up, and then they show up at the dinner, and then she meets Danny, and that they end up catching up. And my biggest thing when she spent more time with Johnny was he's clearly always still been in love with her, but the way they write her, she has grown up enough to be you two need to figure your shit out.
Yep.
I'm out after this. It was nice catching up kind of thing. And that was the best way to bring her back just for that snippet.
Yep.
To give them clarity of understanding they're dumbasses and then roll out. And that was the best way they could have written her.
Sure.
I mean, it also helps that, Daniel's wife literally ratted out and told her everything.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
We can give him some credit. But when they come back and she's talked to her, she's like, so I understand you have somebody or, pretty much Daniel's wife kind of gave up all the information before anything else could happen. So that was made Johnny look too noble with that shit.
That was needed too, though.
Yep. And what I did like is that, they put it in a kind of an ambiguous place where Johnny and Carmen hadn't really talked about the nature of their relationship fully. So if they did kiss, it wouldn't have been, bad timing for sure, and it not exactly the most thoughtful move, but it wasn't like they hadn't made ground rules necessarily.
Yeah,
but, he
hit it once. I mean, but there's no communication about what that meant. So hey,
So there was that ambiguity in that situation didn't make me mad at any point when there was a clear connection between him and his ex Allie. What I did like though is that they turned that into a genuine appreciation for each other where Johnny's able to finally get closure about that relationship that I think had been haunting him and her as well. And it turns into where they just really appreciate each other for what they meant to each other in the past and being able to have that adult conversation and get through some of the demons that they had with each other and ending on it with a real better understanding of who they were and who they were to each other by the end of it. I think it was brilliantly done and great for a Christmas episode too.
I was just going to say, I mean, he still had feelings for Allie from back in the day, those exes, but I mean, come on, man. He was having music video dreams of Miguel's mom, right? Rock video dreams. If there's one person he was pining over, it was more her than Allie. That was just him reminiscing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got to agree with both F.U. Hunter and Hobbit. Yeah, there was Johnny got the closure, but she also brought that level of that sensibility of you stop living in the fucking past because after hearing everything about what Johnny's been up to and like between what's going on between Danny and Johnny, she's like, "You're living in the past. Like we can't live there." Like that was a part of their like final conversation. Like you can't stay there. You know.
You got to give it up for Daniel's wife as well, because anybody that Johnny has been dating, she'll be like, "Oh, what's up? We're best friends." And they're like, "Yup." And then they just like shit on Johnny and Daniel the entire time. They're like, "Yeah, they're little fucking children." And they're like, "I know." And being able to have Allie and her have that conversation about how they were idiots when they were younger, and her being like, "Oh, still idiots," was brilliant. It was so much fun.
I've personally been at that dinner. It's not fun.
And speaking about Daniel, we focused a lot on this episode on Johnny, but the trip to Okinawa to talk to the car dealership led into where they just tied in all of Karate Kid 2. And like when he saw her teaching a class in the now Americanized conglomerate fucking chain restaurant version of what he loved, and he saw the one thing that like actually was from the time when he was there and he remembered and she was there. Like, I mean, that whole episode, and then the whole letter from Miyagi, the last letter right before he died. I mean, God damn it.
It was very well done.
Yeah, and there are a couple notable quotes in there that I stood out to me. It was that first bartender when he was still in Tokyo, and he was looking at the old pictures, and the bartender is talking to him and says, "Oh, I wish I could visit my old friend." And the bartender tells him, "You can always visit someone even when you think they're gone."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and talks to Kimiko, and she's reading the old letters. Miyagi's old words, I think, "You put good into the world, and good comes back to you." I think that all ties a whole lot of things from this season together.
It does, but there is a point that, and 3 seasons of this now, and this, I don't think this is the intention, but the way that Daniel like fetishizes Miyagi to a degree.
Seriously.
Where like Miyagi could be like, he could find an old VHS tape, like home video, and Miyagi would be like, "Oh, I have hemorrhoids. The best thing for hemorrhoids is rest." And he's like, "Oh man, yeah, when you're irritated, maybe being calm and relaxing is what's going to help you through the hardest of your times." And like glean some fucking deep insight out of something that doesn't mean fucking anything. Like this isn't the fucking Silent Bob of karate that like anything he says is like a gem of wisdom. He's a smart, a wise man. But yeah, he's just like, he reads a slip of paper and it's like he's getting a fucking fix. Like, "Oh, yeah, more Miyagi words." Just
every fucking time, man.
Every time.
Well, you know what they need to have in the LaRusso house? But they should have a Miyagi jar where every time he says his name, he has to put a fucking quarter in there. It'd be fucking rich, because goddamn, every fucking episode, every conversation goes right back. It's like that person who's obsessed with that thing, and you try to change the subject, and it still goes right back to the fucking subject they keep talking about. Like,
it's so much.
And I do see a level of what you're talking about, but kind of going back to what Chris was saying, like that particular episode though, like it wasn't in the vein of a couple of the hokey times did it before. I mean,
sure,
he like you hear him talk about how he treated Miyagi like family, but to hear a letter where Miyagi said it's his family, like he is like basically a grandfather to his children, that shit is hardcore as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you can talk shit all you want, but you can't fuck with that at all. Like zero.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel was been saying forever that Miyagi treated me like family, and then to hear the reversal and hear Miyagi say Daniel invited me into his family. Yeah, I definitely see what you mean there.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That episode, you can say Miyagi all you want. I'm just talking about every other episode, which I think is what Hobbit is also saying, where he brings them up. Everything's a lesson.
Where it's like his daughter's having a panic attack.
That's what it was in Karate Kid. Are you fucking dense? Like everything was a lesson.
This is like 3 seasons of like where his daughter's having a panic attack, and he's like, "Yeah, no, Mr. Miyagi once told me not to be afraid, and that helped." And she's all like, "Oh fuck, I didn't think about that." And then she's better. Like,
you know who like khakis? Miyagi like khakis. I mean, like.
It's when fucking Wolverine chick like knocks over a picture of Miyagi that she's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta fuck her up."
That's the cheese factor right there, bro. Yes. Yeah, that's the highest stinky Limburger.
Knock over his photo,
right? That was
when
like
she finally like got her spine back.
No, it's
fight
like
that bitch.
It's like Mormons that raise their kid in the faith, where they would definitely know better if they weren't like brainwashed.
Don't
that
compare Mormons to Cobra Kai and karate. Come on, man.
I'm comparing the Mormons to Mr. Miyagi specifically.
No, that's even worse.
I would agree with Hobbit on this one.
Daniel-san she's like 5, and she's all like, "What is God?" And he's like, "It's a little man named Mr. Miyagi that likes really well waxed cars." And she's like, "Oh yay!" That
he's Yoda.
Yeah, he's Yoda. He's the Yoda of this karate verse.
So would you kick Yoda in the dick? I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, would you just shit all over Yoda?
I don't know what your special edition had in it, but
Just saying.
No, that would be if Darth Vader and Luke were like fighting and they're like lightsaber battling, and then Darth Vader accidentally knocks over a picture of Yoda, and Luke is just like, "You piece of shit!" and just like rage attacks Vader.
Now it's on.
So I said, like, the Mormons teaching their kids Mormonism is that he has taught his daughter to revere Miyagi as like a fucking wise ghost that just like hangs out and like whispers in her dad's ear at night, like little sayings, just like wax on and switch to Geico to save 15% on auto insurance. And he's all like, "Oh fuck," and wakes up in the morning all juiced. That's what her life has been. Her entire life is that her dad being like, "Yeah, fucking this." Like my sensei told me once that fear is bad.
Wait, hold on. We're going to just cross over insurance companies. Like a good neighbor, Miyagi is there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we got the episode name.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I was thinking Yoda of the Karate Kid universe.
I would like to see somebody doing like the deep fake thing of putting Miyagi's face on Yoda. Would be I kind of need that in my life.
Better than the other way around.
True.
I know we kind of sort of waxing poetic because I mean it's a property that we all grew up with, and to see the insane, like, not expected, never thought in a million years progression that it went. Like, I remember when I first saw Cobra Kai was a thing on the season 1 of YouTube, I was like, what? Like, I thought it was done. I thought it was done with the next generation bullshit, or the next whatever the fuck that was. Anyway, and
the next Karate Kid, yeah.
Yeah, no, to get this was... Oh, then we got the abysmal remake, which...
never bothered.
I will watch the next Karate Kid all day over that remake. Fuck that movie.
I never bothered.
Fuck that movie.
I had no interest.
But anyway, before, like, on a serious note, before we, end up wrapping up this episode, I feel like there's a couple main things we really haven't touched on that we really do. We really didn't touch on Robbie, his full progression, and we didn't touch on the ending after the fight and what happens with the 3 different dojos.
Sure.
I mean, that's a big turn for what we're going into with season 4, right? I mean, like, it's going to be huge.
And also,
that pilot's going to be baller as fuck.
Such a fucking cliffhanger. Jesus.
Right? That first episode of season 4 is going to be fucking awesome.
Just that fucking finale was, God, I mean, again, we talked about briefly, but that fucking house party, fucking just craziness. Like,
what kind of house parties you been to? Holy shit.
But I'm just saying, like, literally, well, it was supposedly supposed to be a party, I believe, at the beginning of the episode.
And it's all fun and games till somebody plays everybody was kung fu fighting, and then the whole house party turns into fucking chaos.
Just the fact that literally it's like,
fucking
hey,
kids.
There's a cat outside, and one of them goes to investigate, and they gets thrown through the fucking window, and that's how that shit starts.
It went hardcore as fuck real quick. Real quick.
Cobra Kai's entire plan hinged on one of them going literally meow.
Exactly.
You can hear them meowing, and it's clearly a human person going meow.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way that is a cat.
No, it wasn't.
And so their whole plan was just like, hopefully they forget that they don't have a cat, and then they go to let in the clearly human voiced cat.
I was going to say, Sam at no point realized that, oh, wait, we don't have a cat. Where are you going?
Not till he's already outside.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, wait, I don't have a cat. Crash the window. Duh.
Also, the balls on the Cobra Kai being like, yeah, we're going to literally, like, possibly right out the gate murder a child. Like, by throwing them through a window into God knows what. Maybe murder him, and then invade a home, and then fuck it up royally. Like, the cops in Pasadena are, like, talk about all ACAB. Holy shit. Like, the cops in that neighborhood do not. Of course, if you're part of a community full of karate gangs, like I'd probably be like, fuck it too, and just not show up.
I
don't get paid to get hit by a fucking teenager. Seriously.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I would like to hear that called in though. The Eagle Fangs are fighting the Cobra Kais who are fighting the Miyagi Dojo. Like that call in has got to be ridiculous as shit for the cops to fucking roll up in that house.
It's like the
that,
California fucking bean sprout version of the Warriors out there. Just
very much. I'm just saying they're used
West
to the
Side
Bloods
Story.
and the
Can you
Crips.
imagine if they did it to fucking song?
Oh
it was
my
just
God.
West Side Story. The gangs fighting to finger snaps.
They're actually singing "You're the Best" as they're doing the karate. Yeah, that would be perfect.
You're the best.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like Cobra Kai will bust in with like the Hulk Hogan theme, like I am a real American.
I hope that's what season 4 is. It's just
Seriously,
a full
go on.
musical season. Fuck it.
So good.
I did appreciate, I can't remember which episode it was, where you have the lessons from each sensei and it cuts between each one. So you have like the, very peaceful Daniel-san talking to his, students, and it cuts to Kreese where he's like fucking no mercy and shit. And then you get to Johnny, which is just a mixture of the two, but very much like, and that's where you're going to fucking beat their ass. All right. God damn it. And then it cuts to Dan. And the switch between the senseis was fucking amazing.
Perfect.
So wait, so do we just discover that Johnny is the middle ground common sense now?
Weirdly, yes. That's
Holy
what's so
shit.
fucked up about this show.
Holy
Johnny
fuck.
is like the voice of like, he's the guy in the middle being like, we can all like, there's a little bit of truth.
We can all
to
live
all
together, bro. Like, but no, like I said, the one character that was kind of on the outside the entire season was Robbie. Like, we get he's angry. Johnny comes in to try to talk to him while he's doing his community service to shorten his sentence. He's getting his ass handed to him by 3 to 4 dudes in juvie. Like, and then the only person that actually shows up for him, because Johnny bailed on him for Miguel, which hit him hard. And I could get that as a son. Like,
yeah,
well, fuck you, dude. Like, he's not your blood, was Kreese. Kreese showed up and tried to give him some sort of path. So you see how now Robbie's on the dark. He's on his way towards the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like Robbie's on whoever's side that shows up. If you don't show up, he's against you.
Yeah,
no one's ever shown up for him.
Yeah, he's desperate to have like a family, really.
Yeah,
ultimately.
exactly. No one's ever shown up for him. So I get that. Wanting, like, you will latch on to whoever the fuck shows up. I totally understand that.
Well, also maybe being in prison, the ways he was taught doesn't work as well as the strike first scenario, which he does after he talks to Kreese. And then guess what? The motherfucker's not fucking with him anymore, Yeah. So that the mentality he had going in there had to change, because obviously the first time he's there, he's like, I'll use my defensive moves. And they're like, nah, that's not going to fucking work. You got to fucking fight dirty. Once he does that, then he gets respect.
He was like that before he went to Miyagi-Do, and it didn't work out for him. So it was almost like a reversal. Because when you first meet Robbie, he would fight, like, get in trouble. Like the first scene? He was like, wasn't he like selling something or whatever?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying once he was in prison, he tried to carry on what he was taught, like with Daniel-san, and that didn't work. But that mentality didn't work. He had to fucking fight dirty in order to like not get fucking picked on.
Well, it does really talk about the nature versus nurture, because you've got Johnny who kind of had a rough go at it, and that affected how he was as a father. You've got that's the nature part of his actual biological father. Then you've got the being in prison. And if you're looking at the basis of Cobra Kai formed from like prison rules, basically, where it's
rules of war.
Yeah,
rules of war.
It's either me or them. That's how Kreese kind of got to where he was. So for him to be in that same position and Kreese give him the advice to be able to be successful in that circumstance, it makes sense.
Totally. I agree. But that between that, when you finally get to that final battle scene in the finale, where it's, Kreese, Danny, Johnny, Robbie, Sam, Miguel. I mean, like, as cheesy as some of those lines were, though, what that episode kind of meant, like the culmination of everything, like that fight scene between Johnny and Kreese was hardcore. And yeah, Daniel showing up did save Johnny's ass, but Johnny was kicking the shit out of Kreese pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he
then
was.
But the only thing Danny had was he learned that special technique that Miyagi never showed him, and it was just numbed all his limbs. I mean, it was god damn it, it was good.
So good.
It's fucking good.
And I wish we had time to really dig into this even deeper because there's so much more for us to talk about. But we are getting towards the end here.
I was just gonna throw out. I'm a sucker for the song, but when they play the Phil Collins song at the very end, and then you have fucking Danielson, and then literally Johnny comes out, and they just look at each other, and it's like, all right, let's start fucking training.
Yes.
Right.
So
Not only did Johnny come out, Johnny came out during the do.
Exactly.
Dude,
exactly. Which
he came
all
out
of us
during
are now
the drums,
doing
dude. No, and he just looks over. Oh my god, yeah,
so fucking badass.
So badass.
And one last question: the way the season completely ended, when Kreese picked up the phone, the question is, how sure are we that he called Silver? Because how many things in this series did they flip around from 30 years ago?
True.
I think he called homeboy from Karate Kid 3.
Yep.
Barnes.
And
right?
Barnes.
Like
and we're going to
Barnes.
get Barnes in season 5 to come back because Barnes is just as vicious, if not more fucking sadistic than fucking Kreese is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, Chris, I think you're on something there. You're right. Like, I was thinking, like, well, because they showed that scene and then they went right to that scene. So, of course, it's got to be that. Fuck
It's
that.
a little too obvious.
They're fucking with you. I guarantee it's going to be
They've
Barnes.
done it before, so that I can definitely see them kind of being it. That's what's expected, and so if it happens, it's not a big surprise. But yeah, they could definitely go a different way.
If they bring Barnes in, Barnes and Kreese with Johnny and Danny, I mean, Barnes was fucking vicious.
Yeah.
Like, he was crazy. Like, point blank, crazy.
Oh, man. I'm excited to see what happens with season 4. I'm glad that they already renewed it for a 4th season. We are definitely getting that. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm reminded of what a gentleman that works at the comic shop I go to said when I started reading the All New Mutants, All New X-Men, was that it has no right being as good as it is. That's how I feel about Cobra Kai. Is it should not be this good.
No, it shouldn't, but damn it if it isn't.
But it's so much fun, and I get juiced like every time I watch a new season of it. So I'm excited about season 4. I love that they're able to revisit these characters and still do something new with them while still paying proper honor to like the source material. You know, I feel like it's got two masters right now, nostalgia and new story, and it's currently doing really well at managing both. So
yeah, they're not really heavy-handed with either. They're giving each its due, and that's tricky when it comes to something like Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Right? Like how do you make this more awesome and more deep than it already was?
Yeah.
Who knew there would be this like legs to fucking that movie from the 80s in which kids wanted to do the crane kick like this much?
Yeah. Right. Movies in the 90s, they tried to mimic, what was it, Sidekick with fucking Chuck Norris and
God damn.
you remember that? No, but it was trying to be the 90s Karate Kid. It really was.
They just did The Craft Legacy. I don't know one goddamn person that watched it. So like,
why the fuck would I watch that when I can just watch The Craft?
Yeah, no shit.
I'm just saying,
especially that one scene where they're in the school uniforms and they're all walking in slow motion.
Yeah, no.
That one scene. Yeah,
no.
I watched that scene a lot.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like the show.
Let me see your hands.
Like, no,
no,
no. I mean, but like the show monopolizes on the schoolgirl thing, and it's like that's not the reason. I mean, it's part of the reason, but not all the reason why The Craft was a badass movie.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But all right, so we're done with this episode of Geeks Under the Influence. Thank you so much for sticking around to hear our thoughts and opinions on this little shot in the arm of nostalgia that we really needed when all the shit that's going on in the world right now. It's nice to have something that's just so fun to really kind of tear through, especially in the winter months. So much appreciation to the show creators for bringing that joy to us. And if you want to experience more Geeks Under the Influence, check out GUIPodcast.com for the link to all the previous episodes of the show, our social media, and make sure to go to whatever podcatcher you use, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify. Subscribe, rate, review if you can. Let the world know what you think about this show. It definitely helps for us to get reviews. So please, if you got a spare second, we really do appreciate it. And we'll find you next time for another episode of Geeks Under the Influence. I'm Mike the Hobbit. Join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit. It's inevitable.
Join us or die, or I will swallow your soul.
GUIPodcast.com.
Curs.
Cures.
Curs.
The cures.